What do you want to say about Steven Gerrard? Do you think he was treated badly, or do you think it was the right decision and it was a long time coming?
I think it's a mixture of the both, if I'm honest with you. I think, obviously, as all Villa fans can see, it's been a bit of a downhill spiral since he took over. We had a couple of months to start with that seemed okay. But it's just, I think the players have got a lot to answer for. You know,
let you down a little bit last night, didn't they? I mean, the mistake after mistake last night, a little bit reckless as well from Douglas Luiz. I mean, the own goal from Mings Martinez, who's had a couple of wobbles.
Yeah, I think Mings I've got a bit of sympathy for. I think, obviously, you guys have spoken about the captaincy situation, which I don't think was handled brilliantly. I think everyone saw it coming. But I think the biggest mistake was actually giving it to McGinn, because I think if you speak to a lot of Villa fans, he wasn't a guaranteed starter this season. And for him to be starting every game there and not being taken off, especially when he's playing poorly, has probably affected. He's why Gerrard's probably got the sack. It's situations like this, playing Leon Bailey week in, week out, when he's not performing and when the effort levels aren't there. I think what Martin Keown was saying earlier, which I agree with, if I'm honest with you, it can be quite... as a Villa fan, I can find it quite embarrassing in the stands sometimes when I'm listening to heckles, when I'm listening to certain chants. And I think we do get on the team's back quite easily. But it's all we really ask for is a bit of effort.
Alex, part of the problem when it comes to finding a successor for Steven Gerrard is that we don't really know what kind of football club Aston Villa are now, because I think the owners see them as a team who can challenge for the top six and challenge for European football. Recent history tells us that Villa aren't that club anymore. Yeah. Does Christian Purslow deserve a bit of the blame here as well? When you look at the signings, you look at him installing the idea that Aston Villa can go from being relegation candidates to European contenders. There's got to be a bit of realism here, hasn't there, when it comes to expectation? I mean, if they're seriously contemplating trying to get Thomas Tuchel a Champions League winner, that is just delusional, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
Not at all, I don't... Sorry, Alex, I was answering for you there. I mean, I'm protecting my old club. I think Aston Villa is a huge football club with great...
They were.
But look, there's a fantastic potential there. So that's why Pochettino and Tuchel and all these names have been mentioned. And there is still a very good group there, Alex. Were you starting to lose belief, Alex, in the players? I mean, we've got Buendia and Coutinho. So should it be either of those or none of those? You've got Watkins or you've got Ings. Should it be one of them or both of them? Were you becoming confused with the selection game after game?
I think it's a tough one with Watkins. Obviously, Watkins isn't a natural goal scorer, and I think when you're not a natural goal scorer, you need to play on confidence, and he hasn't got that at the moment. And so I think being thrown in, game out, it hasn't helped that. It hasn't built his confidence. It's actually knocked it the opposite direction, which is tough. So I think it's become difficult. With Buendia, he's a brilliant sub. He lights up the game when he comes off the bench. But when he starts, he flatters to deceive. He just doesn't impress me at all when he starts. So it's a tough one.
And Coutinho? Coutinho? The same?
I'm not sure. I think when you watch the game properly with Coutinho, I almost feel like he's one step ahead and he can't quite get to grips with where we are as a team and the players he's playing with. I think he's struggling to fit in the system. So whether or not we're just not a good fit for each other is a different question. I think it's just that he's the type of player where when you're watching the game from the side, you sometimes see passes and you think, why haven't we got it out to the left? Why haven't we look at the space? Coutinho sees passes that we don't even see in the stands, so his quality is there for everyone to see.
But you need to dominate possession, don't you, to get him on the ball when they haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, he can't be picking the ball up off our centre halves, and because he's not someone who picks the ball up and carries. When he's getting the ball on the front foot and we've got possession like we did against Leeds.
Who do you want to see as manager, Alex? Who would you like to see next?
Do you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I think, like you guys just said, I know. Obviously, I think it is a bit delusional. Looking at Tuchel and Pochettino. I think asking Pochettino to go from Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi to Leon Bailey is a bit of an insult to his accreditation. But I don't know. I don't know where we're at. I think that's again Purslow sort of feeding us with this idea that we're as good as other teams. I think you're right, Mine. We are a big club, but we're not a good one at the moment.
Okay.
And that's what we need to get to.
Alex, thank you very much. Listen, you think they've got ambitious owners. They haven't really shown that with too much spending so far. In the summer, they bought in Diego Carlos and Boubacar Kamari. They paid a cut price fee for Coutinho, but they didn't go on a massive spending spree. You also said they're not a big club. They are a big club.
They
Aston
were a
Villa.
big club.
Well, they are a big club. You don't go from being a big club to not being a big club. You are a big club.
You can't live off your history. You can't live off your history and automatically think,
history.
Because we're Aston Villa, because we won the European Cup before I was born, by the way, we have the right to challenge for a place in the top 6. It doesn't work that way.
It's not about having a chance. It's not about having a right to fight for the top 6. It's having an ambition to fight for the top 6. We're talking about ambition. We're not
Let's
talking
have realistic
about right.
ambitions. If Villa finish 10th this season, they've done well.
But why can't they have ambition to try and play European football? Why should there be a ceiling for them?
You've got to back it up with what you say, spending in the right way. Look at Newcastle, for example.
Correct.
Newcastle believe that they can be a top 6 club this season.
So what defines
they
them
could be.
as ambitious owners then? Tell me.
Spending money in the right way, getting the right manager in place, which clearly they didn't do.
So they haven't
with
done
Steven
any of that
Gerrard.
so far. So how are they ambitious owners?
Well, they come out and make public statements suggesting that they're ambitious owners. They haven't really backed that up so far.
Well, I think they're a big club. I think Leeds are a big club. You don't like them either.
They
Sheffield
are.
Wednesday are a big club. Newcastle are a big club. There's lots of big clubs that all fancy themselves as top 6 contenders.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.